Flat Earth Debunked, Using the Bible. Part 1 of 3. Slide 1, Intro. Rumored Myths, Part 1. Batman Fan Forever 08. AKA Jeremy. Slide 1b. Yes, I realize that there are people that actually believe this hogwash. This video is actually directed at them and at the atheists that try to spread this nonsense. Slide 2. For the time will come when men will not put up with sound doctrine. Instead, to suit their own desires, they will gather around them a great number of teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear. They will turn their ears away from the truth and turn aside to myths. 2 Timothy 4, verses 3-4. Slide 2b. I want to teach you flat earther something about gravity before we get into the scripture. The law of gravity dictates that if something is sufficiently massive, then its sheer mass alone will crush it into a sphere. The Earth isn't the minimal size for this to happen, either. This can happen to even smaller objects. Here are some examples: Mercury, Venus, Ceres, Pluto, Eris, Make, Haumea, etc., etc. Slide 3, here we go. Rumored myth number 1. The Bible teaches a flat earth and a solid dome heavens. Slide 4. Rumors claims. The Bible teaches that the earth was flat and circular, sitting on pillars with a rotating solid sky dome overhead which carried the sun, the moon, and the stars and allowed water to leak through windows of heaven or sluice gates to form clouds and rain. Most flat earthers on the internet and some atheists have claimed this. Just do your research. Slide 5. Look at the diagrams displayed on the screen now. Slide 6. Ancient cosmologies. Slide 7. Sumerian cosmology. Heaven, Ain, and the earth, Ki, were formed within primeval sea, Abzu, which existed before anything else. The boundary between the primeval sea and the earth, a flat disk, was a solid vault, within which was the gas-like atmosphere, Lil. The stars, planets, sun, and moon were embedded in this solid vault. 4 major Sumerian deities. Ain, god of heaven. Ki, goddess of earth. Enlil, god of the air, son of Ain and Ki. Enki, god of the primeval sea. Slide 8. Greeks. The Greek philosopher Anaximenes described the heavens as like a felt cap that turned on its head, with the stars fixed to the surface like nails. Anaximenes. Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Slide 9. Jews. Flavius Josephus. After this, on the second day, he placed the heaven over the whole world, and separated it from the other parts, and he determined it should stand by itself. He also placed a crystalline firmament round it, and put it together in a manner agreeable to the earth, and fitted it for giving moisture and rain, and for affording the advantage of dews. Slide 10. Jews. Jewish Talmud. The learned of Israel say, the sphere stands firm, and the planets revolve. The learned of the nations say, the sphere moves, and the planets stand firm. The learned of Israel say, the sun moves by day beneath the firmament, and by night above the firmament. The learned of the nations say, the sun moves by day beneath the firmament, and by night beneath the earth. Slide 11. Christians. Theophilus of Antioch. For the Spirit being one, and holding the place of light, was between the water and the heaven, in order that the darkness might not in any way communicate with the heaven, which was nearer God, before God said, "Let there be light." The heaven, therefore, being like a dome-shaped covering, comprehended matter which was like a clod. Slide 12. Christians. Book of Enoch. And to the east of those beasts I saw the ends of the earth whereon the heaven rests, and the portals of the heaven open. And I saw how the stars of heaven come forth, and I counted the portals out of which they proceed, and wrote down all their outlets, of each individual star by itself, according to their number and their names, their courses and their positions, and their times and their months, as Uriel the holy angel who was with me showed me. Slide 13. Look at the memes displayed on the screen now. Slide 14. Islam. Quran. The heavens and the earth were once joined together as one unit before it was split into two parts, Surah 21, verse 30. Allah created 7 heavens and the stars are found in the lowest heaven, Surah 64, verse 12, 67, verses 3 to 5, 41, verse 12. Earth is like a carpet, held in place by heavy mountains, described as being like tent pegs, so that it won't move or shake, Surah 71, verses 19 to 20, 78, verses 6 to 7, 31, verse 10. Slide 15. The Bible. Slide 16. The firmament. Found in the KJV Bible. Refers to a solid structure. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. Genesis 1, verses 6 to 8, KJV. Slide 17. Firmament. Comes from the Latin word firmamentum, from Jerome's Latin Vulgate translation of the Bible. Firmamentum has the meaning of support or prop. Open and shut case that the Bible refers to the heavens as a solid object. Slide 18. Rakia. Hebrew noun, from the verb raka, which means beat, stamp, beat out, and spread out. Raka. Stamp one's feet, 2. Stamp something with the feet, 1. Spreading metal, 4. Spreading out the earth, 3. Spreading the sky or the clouds, 1. Slide 19. Rakia. Used 17 times in the Old Testament. 11 times in 7 verses from Genesis 1. 5 times in Ezekiel's visions, once referring to the extent of the angel's wings and the other 4 referring to something that appeared to be like a gleaming crystal, although it is never identified as being a solid object. 2 times in the Psalms, once referring to the expanse as described in Genesis, and the second referring to the mighty expanse of God's power. So, Rakia itself does not always refer to a solid object. Slide 20. Rakia. Defined by God in Genesis 1, verse 8. God called the expanse Rakia heaven. So, the Rakia is nothing more than heaven itself and does not comprise a separate structure. Genesis 1, verse 20. Let birds fly above the earth in the open expanse Rakia of the heavens. It is unclear how birds can fly through a solid dome. Slide 21. Pillars of the heavens. Skeptics say that the pillars of the heavens refer to pillars that hold up the dome heavens. Slide 21-2. Look at the diagrams displayed on the screen now. Slide 21-3. Job 26. He spreads out the northern skies over empty space, he suspends the earth over nothing. He wraps up the waters in his clouds, yet the clouds do not burst under their weight. He covers the face of the full moon, spreading his clouds over it. He marks out the horizon on the face of the waters for a boundary between light and darkness. The pillars of the heavens quake, aghast at his rebuke. Job 26, verses 7 to 11. Slide 22. Pillars of the heavens. From the Hebrew word amud. Pillar of cloud/fire, Exodus 13, verse 21. Suspended the veil of the temple, Exodus 26, verse 32. Knocked down by Samson, Judges 16. Column of smoke, Judges 20, verse 40. Solomon's Palace, 1 Kings 7. Slide 23. Pillars of Solomon's Temple. 2 Chronicles 3, verse 15. Slide 24. The pillars of the heavens are the mountains. The Bible associates quaking or shaking with the mountains. Psalm 46, verse 3, Isaiah 54, verse 10, 64, verse 1, Nahum 1, verse 5. Slide 25. The ends of the earth. Of the gods of the peoples who are around you, near you, or far from you, from one end of the earth to the other end, Deuteronomy 13, verse 7. If the earth has ends, doesn't that imply it is flat? Slide 25-2. Look at the diagrams displayed on the screen now. Slide 26. The ends of the earth. Earth is the translation of Hebrew eretz. Land, 1581, earth, 655, ground, 119, lands, 57, country, 44, countries, 15. Slide 27. Eretz often refers to people. Shall not the judge of all the earth eretz deal justly? Genesis 18, verse 25. His judgments are in all the earth eretz. 1 Chronicles 16, verse 14. Sing to the Lord, all the earth eretz, 1 Chronicles 16, verse 23. Tremble before him, all the earth eretz, 1 Chronicles 16, verse 30. Let all the earth eretz fear the Lord, Psalm 33, verse 8. Shout joyfully to God, all the earth eretz, Psalm 66, verse 1. All the earth eretz will worship thee. Psalm 66, verse 4. Sing to the Lord, all the earth eretz. Psalm 96, verse 1. Worship the Lord in holy attire, tremble before him, all the earth eretz. Psalm 96, verse 9. The whole earth eretz is at rest and is quiet, they break forth into shouts of joy. Isaiah 14, verse 7. Slide 28. Eretz refers to local land. He ran from the tent door to meet them and bowed himself to the earth eretz, Genesis 18, verse 2. Now may God give you of the dew of heaven, and of the fatness of the earth eretz, Genesis 27, verse 28. And the people of all the earth eretz came to Egypt to buy grain from Joseph, Genesis 41, verse 57. Moses stretched out his staff toward the sky, and the Lord sent thunder and hail, and fire ran down to the earth eretz. And the Lord rained hail on the land of Egypt. Exodus 9, verse 23. And the earth eretz opened its mouth and swallowed them up, and their households, and all the men who belonged to Korah with their possessions. Numbers 16, verse 32. So they would camp against them and destroy the produce of the earth eretz as far as Gaza. Judges 6, verse 4. And all the earth eretz was seeking the presence of Solomon, to hear his wisdom which God had put in his heart. 1 Kings 10, verse 24. Slide 29. The ends of the earth. Of the gods of the peoples who are around you, near you, or far from you, from one end of the earth to the other end, Deuteronomy 13, verse 7. Slide 29-2. The ends of the earth. Of the gods of the peoples who are around you, near you, or far from you, from one end of the land to the other end, Deuteronomy 13, verse 7. Credits. Continued in Part 2 of 3.